Dan, I have a confession to make.
Oh boy, another one?
Yeah. Okay. I'm on YouTube. I've been doing it now for a couple years. I participate in the number one firewood podcast in the world, the Wood Hounds. But I just sometimes I can't figure out this podcast thing. It's confusing to me.
Yeah, well, we actually did have a little hiccup here a couple weeks ago. And I'm not sure how many listeners out there noticed, but there are certain things out of our control when it comes to, I guess, distributing the podcast. So, we send out our feed on new episodes, and then at the other platforms out there like Spotify and Apple and Google and iHeart, they all pick up that feed and then they refresh it in, their, I guess, new content.
Yeah.
And sometimes things kind of get, like I said, there's little hiccups. And so we tend to release new episodes at a certain time, but sometimes people might not notice them until a few hours later or the next day. So it can be a little confusing.
Yeah. I got confused. So I have Spotify, and I also use Google Podcast. And when Wednesday morning came, I check and just to make sure it uploaded, and there was nothing there.
Yeah.
And then I checked our dashboard, and there was a lot of nothing there. It appeared that our episode that you uploaded, Dan is our resident computer nerd here at Wood Hound Studios. He uploaded it, and the service that we pay for sent it to some, but not all. And it killed our numbers for the episode.
Yeah, so it was released on time through the woodhounds.com website. However, on certain platforms there was a bit of a delay.
Yeah.
Even up to 24 hours it was later before it was actually available to listen to.
Yeah, it didn't come up until the following day in the afternoon. So it was almost a day and a half before it just decided to appear. It's just weird.
Well, you know that saying, you don't know what you have till it's gone. So I think It's the way the internet sometimes makes you appreciate those things, and then you notice when they're not there and you appreciate it even more.
Yeah.
That's my tech excuse.
Uh-huh. But it got me thinking about podcasting. So I listen to a number of podcasts. I have a lot of different interests, and I follow them, through just podcasts that I stumble upon. But when you want to listen or search the world of all of the podcasts, you can do it with whichever platform that you're using. What we have done is we have provided you at least with the website for us.
Yes.
And it has a link to every one of our episodes. Well, a lot of you out there, like me, you use a streaming service because I like to listen to my 80s and 70s music. And you can't get it on the radio unless you have satellite radio. Well, I have streaming Spotify, and there's others. There's Pandora and iHeartRadio and iTunes if you have an iPhone. And that's how I find my podcast. So I checked Wednesday morning on Spotify, and there was nothing there.
And your day was ruined.
It was.
Yeah.
I was worried. Yeah, I thought, well, what the heck?
Yep.
The other one, and I think anyone, if you have the internet, you can go to Google,
Yeah.
So if you went to Google, all you have to do is type in Google Podcast. And there's also an app, but you could just do it through Google, and it takes you right to Google Podcast. And there you could type in the Wood Hounds, and bam, there is all of our episodes on Google Podcast. So you could do that right on your smartphone if you don't want to pay for Spotify or Pandora or iHeartRadio. or you could just get the Google Podcast app, which is free,
Right.
and you could get all of your episodes through there. But the challenge, though, is had we not noticed that our numbers went into the tank, would we have even known that we never appeared on these platforms?
Yeah, that is a good question, because I looked at the website and it was there, and I don't use any of, like, I don't have Spotify. I have Apple Podcasts, and it wasn't on there. But again, sometimes there's that delay, so I wasn't sure what was really going on.
Mm-hmm. We had a listener who sent us an email once, and what did he say? He was wondering why we didn't have our episodes. I think it was Stitcher. Was that it? And
Yes.
because he said that we do not appear on Stitcher, and you were checking our program, and you were saying yes, we are.
Yeah.
And then had it not been for this listener letting us know, we had no idea it wasn't appearing on Stitcher when it was supposed to have been.
Yeah. Yep. That was another little there with that situation. You submit your link to your feed, and then it has to go through an approval process. And for whatever reason, that process was never completed on their end, so it was never, going out to the public. Like,
Yeah.
we were submitted, but we just weren't being added to their feed.
Yeah. But this is all inside baseball here, though, guys. And what I really am trying to get to is I think podcasting is awesome. It's just, if you have an interest in anything, it's just like YouTube. You can find it. And the way that you appreciate or listen to or consume an episode is different, though, because you're just listening to it. And there are times and places where that is just the perfect way of doing it, like driving down the road or mowing your yard or doing a mindless task that you can't sit and watch a screen along with it. And that was what Dan and I had found to be the most intriguing portion of starting a firewood podcast, wasn't it, Dan? Where
Yes.
it's a visual thing, but Dan and I just noticed that we talk about it a lot, and obviously there's a lot of people out there listening. So it seems like podcasting and firewood has a place.
Yes. But, however, we do have a little bit of an announcement to make here for our listeners. And we've heard from people out there wondering why we don't have anything on YouTube as far as related to the podcast, because we both come from YouTube channels. So I'm here to tell you and let you know today there is now the official Wood Hounds Podcast YouTube channel with previous episodes posted on it. So if you're one of those people who maybe sometimes you like to just sit at your computer by your desk and you want to go on YouTube, and I listen to a few podcasts actually on YouTube. So now anyone that's just on YouTube that wants to go back and listen to previous episodes, that is now available on the Wood Hounds Podcast YouTube channel. Yes!
Yeah. Uh-huh. That is cause for celebration. So are you saying now that there's another firewood channel on YouTube?
Well, this is a Firewood Podcast channel on YouTube.
Yeah. And there are a lot of podcast channels on YouTube.
Yes.
Some of them are actual footage of the studio with the person sitting there talking into a microphone. And some are just a picture of two guys with a question mark over top of their head, like probably what ours should be. But is there going to be footage of you and me talking into this podcast on YouTube?
Well, Joe, we've got a couple things in the works and a couple announcements to possibly make regarding that. But for starting out with, we're just going to have a placeholder image. So it is just going to strictly be audio. We do have a few things that we're going to be doing, but as with anything with YouTube, the number one thing is we always set like these milestones. So we want to see if we can gain some subscribers, see how it goes, and then we'll go from there.
So for now, there will be no actual footage of you and me. So people will not be watching you talking in your underwear without a shirt on and salsa running down your chest hairs.
Are you saying that's what I wear when I come to Wood Hounds Studio?
That's what I've been looking at since March.
You've exposed my work attire.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I show up in a tuxedo
Yeah.
with the Monopoly man's hat on, and then you walk in your underwear.
Well, that's where I do my best work.
Yeah. Trust me,
yes.
people, if Dan walked in with his underwear, I'd have been out the other door in 2 seconds. So.
But yes, potentially in the future, we will be expanding to maybe have some of that as maybe not the full episodes, but maybe segments here and there where you can see, the actual workings of Wood Hound Studio.
Yeah. It'll give you something else that you can listen to at night to help you fall asleep. Yeah. And this has not affected either one of our YouTube channels. This is to us, this is a different bucket than YouTube. It doesn't affect our quality at all. So this is simply building the footprint of our podcast and trying to expand our reach. I guess I'm very happy with the numbers that we have, Dan, but when I think of how many views we get a month or even in a day on the YouTube platform, I just think that we got to reach our audience better and get more people listening to the podcast.
Yes, it's just a matter of, I think there's different crowds of, people have an interest of listening to podcasts or on the podcasting platforms, but I also think there's that, group of people that's just on YouTube that would enjoy this content that may never even consider listening to a podcast.
Yeah. And what Dan and I were going to ask of everyone out there as well, if you like the Wood Hounds podcast, would you consider please sharing it with someone in your network? And if you are listening to it on Spotify or Pandora, there is a share option that you click, and you can send it as a text link to a friend or a family member. And that is one way that we can expand our reach with our podcast.
Yeah. Or you can now have that, send it to someone and say, find this on YouTube. If you know that they are more of a YouTube viewer or listener, and then they can go there. And we're running a special right now. From this moment forward until the end of time, you can subscribe for free. So you can go over to the Wood Hounds YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, and it is not going to cost you a dime for the rest of your life.
Our content is worth what you pay for it, right? So let me understand this, Dan. Okay. Will the current episode appear on YouTube?
As of right now, no. We're still, like I said, we've got some things to unlock. Yeah.
The most recent podcast episode that will appear on YouTube will have been the previous week's, correct?
It's actually right now we're like on about a 2-week delay. I think we have 20 episodes up on YouTube, and I think we're 28 on the podcast. So
yeah, but our listeners can still get every single one of our episodes on their current platform, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, those aren't going anywhere.
No.
We are just adding YouTube as a library of past episodes.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
just another resource for potential new viewers to come on, find us, discover us, and listen, through YouTube instead of a podcast platform.
Sure. Okay, I like it.
I mean, all of the major podcasts out there do this. And so I think we need to, since we're in kind of that league now, I mean, we are the number one firewood podcast. I think we got
Yeah.
to expand and broaden our horizons a little here.
Yeah. And what are we in relation to the world? Are we in the top what percent of podcasts?
The top 5%.
Gosh, Dan, can you believe that?
Yeah. So, it's just a matter of us taking this to another level. It's nothing. We're not, I guess, we don't want this to come across as we're abandoning podcasting. We're just taking the podcast to another platform and expanding the reach.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is exciting news. And I think it also lets our listeners know that we are not going anywhere. We are here and we'll be here as long as you guys will have us.
Yes. And the other exciting thing is, I think having the podcast on YouTube and having a channel on YouTube, it may present opportunities to do things like maybe some giveaways or like a live stream or like certain things that are kind of more difficult to do when you're broadcasting to multiple podcast platforms. So if you enjoy the podcast on a podcast platform, just, consider maybe subscribing to the YouTube channel as well, because you never know, where things are what's going to happen. We like to keep guessing.
Excellent. Excellent. Yes, that gives us much more flexibility. I understand, Dan, that you occasionally do a live stream, so you have some experience doing those. And you never know. We just might reach our goal of ruling the world through firewood.
We shall see. We shall see. I think it'll be a lot of fun because I think there's even within our YouTube audiences, I think there's a percentage of them that may never consider, going to Spotify or going to Apple Podcasts. But I think when they find us on YouTube, I think they can now start enjoying the podcast.
I think you're right. All right, Dan, that is exciting news. And here's to another 30, 40, 50 episodes of the Wood Hound Podcast, huh?
Yes, indeed. Let me just, yeah.
How much fun we can have with sound effects, I tell you. So, Dan, while we're on the topic, is there anything else exciting out there that's going to be coming down the road here with our firewood community?
Well, there actually is something pretty big happening.
All right.
And it's the second weekend of October, October 7th. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I do.
It is the Paul Bunyan Show in Cambridge, Ohio. It is it's shaping up this year to be quite the gathering of I guess Wood Hounds. Maybe is that that's what the Wood Hounds are gathering at the Paul Bunyan Show.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm gonna be there Saturday, but I will be arriving into Cambridge Friday night, and we're gonna be having a little fun Friday night with my Friday night live stream. And I think Joe, you're coming down, aren't you? Saturday.
I will be coming down on Saturday, Dan. I will be making an appearance at the Yappa tent from, I don't remember when, noon, I think, or 1 o'clock. Hopefully after lunch. I'll be in a much better mood by then.
Yeah. So, and I don't know for sure exactly where I will be. I'm going to kind of be bopping around. I might come over and bother you though at the Yappa tent for a while. So.
Oh, you're always welcome.
But if you haven't been to the Paul Bunyan Show and you're thinking about it, it's a great time. And now, like I said, there's going to be a lot of Wood Hounds there. And Joe and myself will be there, so come on out.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I call it a firewooders Disneyland. It is at the county fairgrounds, the Guernsey County Fairgrounds, and it is just wall to wall timber industry. And I mean everything from a hatchet to a hundreds of thousands of dollars machine that makes mulch out of a 100-year-old tree in 2 seconds. I
Yes,
mean, everything from axes and boots and chainsaws and processors and log splitters to trucks and trailers and furnaces, everything you could possibly imagine. What a great time.
it is amazing. Last year was a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and the other thing is, I think outside with Shibe's going to be there.
Yes.
So like I said, there's just going to be a whole cast of characters. Come on out and partake in the festivities. See if you can track us down during the day.
Yeah. Stop out at the Yappa tent and say hi to me. It had a huge turnout last year. I was flattered. There was probably 20 people wearing Ohio Woodburner t-shirts that they wore to the Paul Bunyan. It was just an incredible time. Yeah, Dan. Well, a lot of fun, and I'm proud that it is in my state of Ohio, and it's just a lot of fun. So I hope to see everyone there. I know I'll see you there, Dan, and your live stream on Friday night sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of built into. I don't know if I should be like my anticipation is somewhat controlled anxiety, I guess, because I'm a little worried about number one. When I do my live streams, normally I have an audience of 3 or 4. That's my wife, my son,
Uh-huh.
and a couple dogs. And so, like, doing it in front of a live audience might be a little challenging. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
But then
I
the
think you'll
other
be
thing is,
fine.
the other thing is, who is going to be in that audience? There is going to be some rowdy people that by that time of the evening might be, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Well, you said Shibe will probably be there. Well, there's your challenge. I don't know if he would be more ornery with too much beer or not enough beer.
Right. And that's the challenge. Like, how do you find that sweet spot?
Right. All I know is anywhere that outside with Shibe is, you're looking to have a fun time.
Yep, it's going to
What
be
a
a good time.
super cool guy.
Yeah, and the only concern the other thing I should say is we will actually be starting it a little bit earlier. We're going to start at 8 Eastern instead of 8 Central. So we will have, we don't want to go over into that quiet time at the hotel because
Yeah, they
that
might
might be
throw you
trouble.
out.
Yeah.
You'll be sleeping in the parking lot.
Yeah, we'll be driving up to Youngstown.
Oh, look at that. My light's off and I'm in bed. Yeah.
Doors locked and all the lights are off.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, Dan, maybe it's time we strike up the music and let's head on out, huh?
Yeah, everyone, again, thanks for all the support. And just a reminder, past episodes are now available over on the Wood Hounds YouTube channel. Go over, check it out. Like I said, from now until the end of time, it's going to be free to subscribe. So hit that subscribe button. Let us know if the interest is there on YouTube.
Yeah. And thanks so much, everyone, for making the Wood Hounds the #1 podcast about firewood in the world.
In the universe.
Yes.
All right, Joe, as always,
Dan.
great time here in Wood Hound Studio.
Yeah, it is. All right, Dan, I'm going to wish you and everyone else a
Great day.